Alright guys, it's Jahlon with the Paradox Gaming Network, and today we are starting our reboot of Ashes 101 on PvP. This is going to be your introduction to PvP part 1. This is going to be your general overview. And I want to let you guys know that this is all updated as of 2019 April. So if you're watching this later on, you'll understand that this is the most current information that we have. For everyone who doesn't want to wait for me to do the 4-part video series on PvP, you want to jump in and just read it all yourself, go to ashes101.com, click on PvP, and this is where I've already spelled out all of these systems. Think of that as the textbook for the course. Think of these videos as the lecture series for people who like things broken down for them. So today's topic and the topic of the next couple of videos is going to be PvP in Ashes of Creation. And the goal is to have meaningful PvP. But what does that mean? Well, part of that is going to be organized events where there is a time and place for PvP. Think of this as your sieges. They're going to happen at a specific time on each server. But they also want to have open world events that are going to be player driven. So think of this stuff as guild wars or caravans that are going to be player decided. Now we're going to break down each of those topics in their own videos. So don't worry about right now if you don't understand what I mean by those things. The other goal for Intrepid is to dissuade ganking. They don't want Ashes of Creation to turn into a murder box or a gank box, but they're not going to outright prevent it, which they could as the developers. They could just have a no flagging system, but that's not what they want to do. They want people to always have the option to kill other people, but you have to pay the price for it. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to talk about meaningful PvP events, and that's arenas, caravans, castle sieges, guild wars, node sieges, and node wars. Now there's been a couple other terms that have been used, and I want to clear up the confusion about these terms. These previous terms were open world battleground and hunting ground. And in just a second, I'm going to provide the actual definition for these and how they get applied. Then I'm going to re-show this slide with everything aligned properly. We also have the non-meaningful PvP, and this is an incorrectly used term, and we'll fix it in just a second. But this is ganking and murdering, and you'll notice murder is in red. I have a very specific definition for what I call murder. Anytime this happens, you're going to be dealing with the corruption system. But the problem is that non-meaningful PvP is actually considered risk versus reward. There will be a time to murder people or to try to murder them. Sometimes they won't fight back. Sometimes they will. I'm going to go into a lot of detail and a lot of scenarios in the corruption video to help alleviate the open world PvPers mindset that nobody's ever going to fight back. Yes, they will. It'll be the risk versus reward, the right time, the right place to murder people. That's all in the next video. A couple of key terms I want to talk about. The first one is murder. You'll see it's color-coded. This is my definition because murdering is a very specific series of events. It is the two-step process of flagging for PvP and killing an individual who chooses to remain a non-combatant and does not defend themselves. People got it in their head that corruption is going to be applied all the time, and that's not true. If you're at one of those, quote, meaningful PvP events, there is no corruption because everybody there is a combatant. The other two terms I want to talk about is open world battlegrounds. And this is not a place. This is a concept. People were thinking that, you go to a place, you queue, there's a big raid, it's raid versus raid. That is not what open world battlegrounds are. Open world battlegrounds are all these events. We also have the idea of hunting grounds. Again, this is not a specific place. This is the entire open world PvP enabled area. So this is everywhere except the rare places that are safe zones. But remember, anywhere that PvP is enabled, so is corruption. So you're always going to have that risk-reward decision. And then, like I said, I'm going to go into that risk-reward decision way more in the corruption video. Otherwise, this video would end up like 45 minutes long. So now to show you this slide again with the proper terms as the headings, open world battlegrounds are considered all of those individual things. And hunting grounds, the open world, is the corruption-enabled PvP area of the world. So this is really how you want to start thinking about the game, and the way Steven has used those terms, this is how you want to line things out. Now, I do want to talk about safe zones. There are a couple of places where you cannot kill somebody One of those is at player stalls. If they're at the market and they're interacting with the stall and they're selling goods, you cannot kill them. You cannot kill people on their freehold, or is it in their freehold? We're waiting for the actual finalization of in or on. And then instance departments, obviously, because they're instanced, the person, you can't get in to kill the person. Now, what is probably a safe zone is in-node housing. And it's either that you're safe, you can't be killed while you're in your in-node housing, or then it's, quote, safe because you can lock your door and prevent people from getting into you. Now, the question has been asked, are towns safe? And the answer is no. You can be killed in town. Now, there is safety in numbers, and if somebody flags up in the middle of town, they're probably going to get killed pretty quick. And there's probably going to be NPC guards, and they're probably not going to look too kindly on you being flagged for combat or being corrupted. But assassination will be a thing. It will happen. I want to talk about true open world versus restricted open world. Your true open world events are anytime, any place. And this is caravans, guild wars, node wars. Now I have here open world in quotes. These are scheduled events that are respectful of the server time. So you're going to have castle sieges and node sieges. What you're not going to have is you're not going to have to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning to defend your node from a siege. But during a node war, could somebody do a midnight raid on your node? Yes, absolutely. They could raid your node at midnight, be disruptful, win the node war, and we'll talk about node wars versus node sieges in a different video. But you're not going to have to wake up to stop it from being destroyed, because you cannot have a midnight siege on nodes, but you can have a midnight raid on nodes where they come in and try to steal something, destroy buildings, etc. And that is it for the overview today. What I wanted to do is just throw out some things, get people thinking, get their questions going. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Unfortunately, some of the answers to your questions might be, hey, I have a video coming out on that later this week or next week. But some of you ask really good questions, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I need to tweak something and get that question answered. If you guys want to know more right away, you can get me at Jahlon #0001 or join my Discord. You'll find me in the Ashes of Creation Discord. You can talk to me there. Swing by my Twitch while I'm streaming. Even if I'm not streaming Ashes of Creation, I will still talk Ashes of Creation. And then as always, big thank you to all my sponsors. Without my sponsors, I couldn't give away money. So in the description below, there is a link. Go ahead and click on it. You'll be entered into a drawing for gift cards. That's it for today, guys. Next up is corruption. So I'm going to work on that video so I can get that one out this week as well. Take care. Hey, where are you going? You're not done yet. See these videos? There's videos up here to watch. You got to go over here. Hit the chibi. Subscribe to the channel. Check out the webpage. And I'll see you guys on Twitch.